Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos. This is Crown of Thorns. It's a 10-inch finished block. Here's the diagram. We have half square triangles and squares. It's going to be a real simple quilt to make and to cut. Here are 4 blocks set together. I've seen pictures of quilts with this block, and they're set block to block like this, where each block has 3 different colors of fabric. So it would be a great way to use up your scraps. So simple because we're just cutting squares. We're going to cut squares to do half square triangles 2 at a time, and if you want to do 8 at a time, you'll cut squares with that too. So I think it's a good way to use up some of your scraps, and I think the quilt looks awesome. Patch A is a 2-inch finished half square triangle. We'll cut 2 7/8 inch squares, and if you are sewing patches, you'll cut them in half once on the diagonal to get 2 patches. If you're making half square triangles 2 at a time, you'll cut your squares to this size, but don't subcut them. If you're using AccuQuilt, you are cutting patches, so look at the patch, how many patches you need. For the background fabric, you'll need 16 patches or 8 squares. For the dark fabric, you'll need 4 patches or 2 squares, and for the light fabric, you'll need 12 patches or 6 squares. Patch B is a 2-inch finished square. We cut 2 1/2 inch squares. Background, we need 5 patches, and the dark fabric will need 4 patches. To make this quilt, we'll piece the half square triangles, then we'll put those into 4 units for the corners, and then we'll sew the center and the side units together and put the block together. It's very simple. Here are patch A's, the half square triangles. I have cut squares. I'm going to use the method to make 2 at a time half square triangles. And then here are the B patches, the squares. These fabrics are from French General by Moda, and I don't remember what this background fabric is from. Let's start by piecing the half square triangles. And if you'll look on step 1, we have 2 different half square triangles. We have the background and the light fabric and the background and the dark fabric. For the light fabric, we need 12 half square triangles. So we have 6 squares of the accent fabric, and we'll need 6 squares of the background fabric. I think that's 6. And then for the dark fabric, we'll need 4 half square triangles. So we'll need 2 squares of the accent and 2 squares of the background. Now I'll make the half square triangles 2 at a time. If you're not familiar with this technique, stay tuned for a short tutorial. On the back side of the light fabric, we're going to draw a diagonal line, put the fabrics together, right sides together, and we're going to stitch on either side of the diagonal line. Here is the diagonal line drawn, and then the stitching on both sides. Now we cut this in half along the diagonal line. Then we have our 2 half square triangles. Press the seams open and cut off the nubs. Now we go to step 2, where we're going to sew the corner units. We'll use all the half square triangles that we just made and put 4 together to make 1 unit. All of the half square triangles are facing the same way. So you'll sew these 2 together, then these 2, and then sew the 2 rows together. You'll make 4 of these for the corners. Next, we'll take all of the squares, the B patches, and we'll make 2 of these side units and 1 of these center unit. Piece all of these units and press the seams open. Then we'll put the block together. We have our corner units and our center and side units sewn, so we'll just put the block together now. Start in the center. I add the corners. And the sides. And there's your block. You'll sew the units together in the top row and the bottom row, and then sew the rows together and the block is finished. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos.